Risk is something that has been with me from the very beginning. Whether it was stepping into the unknown with a new business venture or making investments that seemed like a leap of faith, I've faced uncertainty time and time again. But here's what I've learned. Risk isn't something to fear. It's an inherent part of life, and it's what has propelled me to where I am today. Now, I understand how daunting it can feel when you're staring down a big decision, unsure of what lies ahead. Believe me, I've been there. That nagging feeling of hesitation, the fear of making the wrong move, it's natural. But let me tell you something important. Avoiding risk altogether. That won't keep you safe. In fact, it may just hold you back from reaching your fullest potential. The truth is, every great leap I've taken came with its own share of risks. But the rewards? They've been far greater than I could have ever imagined. Risk is an unavoidable part of everything we do. Whether you're investing, pursuing a new business opportunity, or making personal decisions, there's always uncertainty. Avoiding risk completely won't protect you. In fact, it may hold you back. I understand if you feel hesitant. We all crave stability, especially when the stakes are high. It's normal to feel uneasy. Believe me, I've been where you are, unsure and worrying about the risks. If you're facing a tough decision, maybe a business move or an investment, know this. Every major step I've taken in life had its risks. But those very risks led to the biggest rewards. It's part of the journey. So, what can you do? First, understand the risks you're taking. Knowledge is power. Manage, don't avoid, the risk. Diversify your investments, have a backup plan in business, and be ready to adapt when things don't go as expected. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There's no such thing as a risk-free path. Things might not always go as planned, but if you avoid risk altogether, you may miss out on the chance for great rewards. The potential for growth is often tied to the risks you're willing to take. I know it's hard, but I've seen people thrive by facing their fears and taking calculated risks. You're capable of doing the same. Keep your eye on the long-term goal and take that first step. You won't regret it. Ultimately, it's your decision. I'm here to offer my perspective, not to tell you what to do. Trust your judgment. If the risk feels too great, it's okay to hold back. But don't let fear stop you from moving forward either. Forget the technical jargon. You don't need to know all the terms. What you do need to know is that index funds are your best friend. They're an easy way to invest without picking individual stocks. It's like buying a basket of top companies instead of betting on just one. They have low fees, are simple to manage, and they tend to do well over time. I get it. Investing can feel overwhelming, especially when you're focused on the present. I've been there. But trust me, the earlier you start, the easier it gets. And even if you don't feel like you have enough to make a real difference, small steps add up. It's not about having a lot right now. It's about being consistent. If you're struggling with debt or living paycheck to paycheck, this might feel like a far-off goal, but here's the truth. Get control of your debt first. Pay off high-interest debt like credit cards, then start thinking about investing. You don't need to be rich to invest, just disciplined. Here's what I want you to do. Start by setting up automatic transfers into an investment account each month, even if it's just $100. Once that's automatic, you won't even have to think about it. Once you've paid off your high-interest debt, put your money into a low-cost index fund like the S&P 500. That's where I'd start today. Now, there are risks with investing. Individual stocks can skyrocket, but they can also crash. A well-diversified index fund spreads the risk, which makes it safer over the long haul. But remember, no investment is risk-free. The key is to stay the course. Don't panic and sell when the market drops. Stay steady, I'm not going to lie, and it's not always easy. But if I can do it, so can you. There were times I felt uncertain, but I kept moving forward with small, manageable steps. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. It's all part of the process. The important thing is starting and being patient. Trust me, it'll pay off. When I say living below your means, I'm not talking about denying yourself everything you enjoy. It's about simply spending less than you earn. If you make $3,000 a month, don't spend $3,100. Instead, save and invest that extra money. It's about creating a lifestyle that's not focused on immediate gratification, but on long-term freedom. I get it. This can be hard. It's tempting to buy the things you see everyone else with. But trust me, it's worth it. I've been in your shoes. It's about finding value in your choices now so that later you have the freedom to choose how you spend your time and money without worry. It's not about perfection. It's about progress. Maybe you're struggling with debt, or perhaps you're unsure where your money is going. Start by tracking your spending. Look for areas where you can cut back. You don't have to make huge changes right away. Just focus on small adjustments like cooking at home instead of eating out or canceling subscriptions you don't need. Each small change adds up. Here's a concrete step. Track your expenses for a month and see where you can cut back. Then, set up an automatic transfer to an investment account each month, even if it's only $50 or $100. This will help you grow your savings without having to think about it. The key is consistency. Balance. I know it's tempting to keep up with others or live for today, but the truth is those people might be living paycheck to paycheck, not financially free. If you want to build wealth, you need to make different choices. You can still enjoy life, just do it in a way that doesn't hurt your future. It's all about balance. This isn't easy, but trust me, it will pay off. When I started, it didn't seem like a big deal to save a little here and there. But those small decisions compounded over time, and eventually they made a huge difference. Stay consistent, and you'll see the rewards in the long run. This is your journey. You don't have to follow everything I say to the letter. Make the decisions that work best for you, but remember, the more you prioritize saving and investing now, the more freedom you'll have in the future. When I say living below your means, I'm not talking about denying yourself everything you enjoy. It's about simply spending less than you earn. If you make $3,000 a month, don't spend $3,100. Instead, save and invest that extra money. It's about creating a lifestyle that's not focused on immediate gratification, but on long-term freedom. I get it. This can be hard. It's tempting to buy the things you see everyone else with. But trust me, it's worth it. I've been in your shoes. It's about finding value in your choices now so that later you have the freedom to choose how you spend your time and money without worry. It's not about perfection. It's about progress. Maybe you're struggling with debt, or perhaps you're unsure where your money is going. Start by tracking your spending. Look for areas where you can cut back. You don't have to make huge changes right away. Just focus on small adjustments like cooking at home instead of eating out or canceling subscriptions you don't need. Each small change adds up. Here's a concrete step. Track your expenses for a month and see where you can cut back. Then, set up an automatic transfer to an investment account each month, even if it's only $50 or $100. This will help you grow your savings without having to think about it. The key is consistency. Balance. I know it's tempting to keep up with others or live for today, but the truth is those people might be living paycheck to paycheck, not financially free. If you want to build wealth, you need to make different choices. You can still enjoy life, just do it in a way that doesn't hurt your future. It's all about balance. This isn't easy, but trust me, it will pay off. When I started, it didn't seem like a big deal to save a little here and there. But those small decisions compounded over time, and eventually they made a huge difference. Stay consistent, and you'll see the rewards in the long run. This is your journey. You don't have to follow everything I say to the letter. Make the decisions that work best for you, but remember, the more you prioritize saving and investing now, the more freedom you'll have in the future. Let me share something that I've learned over the years. Low-cost index funds are one of the easiest and smartest ways to build wealth, and they don't require you to be a financial expert. When I say low-cost index funds, I mean this. Instead of picking individual stocks or constantly watching the market, you invest in a fund that tracks a wide range of companies. Take the S&P 500, for example. It includes 500 of the largest companies in the US, so when you invest in it, you get a piece of all those companies in one go. The best part? The fees are low, so more of your money goes to work for you. I know investing can feel overwhelming at first. The idea of picking stocks, managing risks, and keeping up with market trends can be stressful. I've been there and I understand. But with index funds, you don't have to do all that. You invest in the whole market, and it's a much simpler way to build wealth without the constant worry. If you're new to investing or maybe even hesitant to start, index funds are a great choice. They're simple and low maintenance, and they allow you to invest in the market without the need to make frequent decisions. You don't need to be an expert to start. Just pick a fund, invest, and let it grow. Here's what I want you to do. Open an investment account. Choose a low-cost index fund like the S&P 500 and start putting in a small amount of money every month, automatically if you can. Even $100 a month is a great start. The key is to be consistent. Over time, it'll grow, and you won't have to worry about picking individual stocks. Yes, the market will go up and down, and there is some risk, but historically, broad market index funds like the S&P 500 tend to do well over the long term. They might not make you rich overnight, but they provide steady, reliable growth over time with much less risk than trying to pick individual stocks. This isn't always easy, but it's worth it. If you start now and stay consistent, you'll see the rewards down the road. Don't wait to get started, even if it's just a small amount. The key is to start today and stay patient. I promise this will pay off over time. Ultimately, this is your choice. I'm just here to guide you. You don't have to follow my advice exactly, but I'm confident that investing in low-cost index funds is a safe, smart way to grow your wealth. The choice is yours, and I respect that. When I say don't time the market, I mean trying to guess when the market will go up or down in the short term. It's a fool's game. Instead of reacting to the market's fluctuations, stick to your long-term investment strategy. The market goes through ups and downs, but over time it tends to rise. The key is to stay invested in a solid, diversified index fund and let time work in your favor. I understand the anxiety that comes with market drops. I've felt that myself. When you see your investments losing value, it's hard not to panic. But here's the thing, market dips are normal. Reacting impulsively to them can hurt you in the long run. The best strategy is to stay calm and stick to your plan, even when things feel uncertain. If you're just starting out with investing, this advice is especially important. When the market drops, it might feel like the right time to sell everything. But if you do that, you lock in losses. The market will recover, and those who stay invested during tough times are the ones who typically come out ahead. Here's a simple way to handle this. Set it and forget it. Invest in low-cost index funds, make regular contributions, and don't stress over daily or monthly changes. If the market dips, remind yourself that this is part of the process. Stay consistent and don't make any knee-jerk decisions. Over time, patience pays off. The market is going to have its ups and downs, that's a given. If you react to every dip, you'll miss the opportunities when the market rebounds. On the other hand, staying invested through rough times can be tough. But the trick is to ignore the short-term noise and focus on the long-term growth. I know it's tough, but stay strong. If you stay the course, you'll come out ahead in the long run. I've been through tough market cycles, and I can tell you the ones who succeed are those who stay patient and trust the process. You can do this. This is your journey, and you make the choices. My advice is based on years of experience, but in the end, you need to do what feels right for you. Don't let fear of short-term fluctuations dictate your decisions. Simply put, asset allocation is how you divide your money between stocks, bonds, and other investments. If you're young, you can afford to take more risks, so putting a bigger chunk of your money in stocks, like index funds, makes sense. Stocks can have ups and downs, but over time they tend to grow. As you get older, though, you should reduce your risk by shifting to more bonds and safer investments. Bonds are steadier and will help protect the money you've built. I know this might feel a little overwhelming, but don't worry, it's okay to not have all the answers. You don't need to figure everything out overnight. The idea is to match your investments to where you are in life. If you don't have much experience, it's fine to start slow and adjust over time. If you're in your 20s or 30s, you can afford to be more aggressive with your investments because you have time on your side. But if you're nearing retirement, you'll want to start thinking about protecting your investments and reducing the risk. More bonds, fewer stocks. Right now, take a look at your current investments. If you're younger, maybe you've got 80% of your money in stocks and 20% in bonds. As you get older, think about gradually shifting to a mix like 60% stocks and 40% bonds. It's important to reassess every few years to make sure your mix still fits your risk tolerance. The trick is balance. Stocks offer higher potential returns, but they come with risk. Bonds are safer, but offer less growth. As you get older, you want more safety, but too much caution might leave you with less growth. The goal is to find a mix that makes you comfortable. It may feel like a big task, but start small and make adjustments as you go. The key is to take action. Don't wait. The sooner you get your allocation right, the better. This is your financial journey. The decisions are yours. I'm here to guide you, but make sure you're comfortable with whatever mix you choose. The rule says that you can withdraw 4% of your investments each year in retirement without running out of money. For example, if your annual expenses are $40,000, you'll need about $1 million saved. That's because 4% of $1 million equals $40,000. So, to know how much you need for retirement, just take your annual expenses and multiply by 25. That's your goal. I know this might feel like a big target, but I want you to understand it's entirely achievable. It won't happen overnight, but small, consistent actions over time can lead to big results. I started with much less than I have now, and it's the consistency that made the difference. Whether you're in your 20s or later in life, this is worth thinking about. If you start early, you can take advantage of compound growth. Even if you're closer to retirement, it's not too late to adjust your savings and work towards your goal. This rule applies to anyone wanting to retire comfortably. So, what should you do? First, figure out your annual expenses and multiply that by 25. That's how much you'll need saved. Next, set up automatic savings and investments. It doesn't matter if you start small, just start. The earlier you start, the easier it will be to reach your goal. There are risks, of course. The market doesn't always perform the same way, and no investment is guaranteed. But this rule gives you a clear target, a plan to work towards. It's important to stay invested and stick with it, even when the market fluctuates. I know it's not easy, but don't let that discourage you. Every dollar you save today is a step closer to your goal. Keep moving forward. The small sacrifices now will pay off in the long run. Stay patient, stay disciplined, and you'll be glad you did. You're in charge of your own financial future. While I'm sharing this advice with you, you get to decide how to implement it. Don't feel pressured to follow everything exactly as I say, but consider it as a guide for your own path. All right, let me give you the rundown in the simplest terms. Financial independence isn't some far-off dream for only the wealthy. You can get there, and I'm living proof of that. All it takes is a clear path, saving, investing wisely, and living below your means. Here's what I mean. Save a portion of your income, invest it in things like low-cost index funds, and make sure you're not overspending. It's not about how much you make, it's about how you manage it. You don't need to be a financial guru, just steady, smart choices over time. I know you might be thinking, how do I even start? Life can feel like a constant hustle. But trust me, I've been there too. The key is to start small and build over time. You don't need to make huge sacrifices, just enough to move you in the right direction. Every small step counts. Whether you're just starting out or a bit older, this applies to you. If you're struggling with debt, pay it down first. Once you get that under control, then start saving and investing. If you're already doing well, just keep going and make sure you're diversifying your investments to protect your future. So, what can you do today? Start by reviewing your spending. Cut back where you can. Maybe skip a few takeout meals or cancel subscriptions you don't need. Then, set up an automatic transfer to invest that money. Even if it's just $50 a month, put it in a low-cost index fund. The earlier you start, the better. Is it all easy? Number. You'll face temptations, flashy purchases, going out, all those little things that add up. But here's the truth. Those short-term pleasures won't give you long-term freedom. It's the consistent choices you make now that build the future you want. Yes, investing carries risks, but staying the course is the key. Listen, I know it's not always easy, but keep at it. If I can do it, so can you. It's about consistency. Stick with it, even when things feel slow. One small step after another. Before you know it, you'll see how far you've come. This is your journey. You decide how to do it. My advice is just that, advice. You have the power to make decisions that feel right for you, so take your time, ask questions, and don't let fear hold you back. Let me share something I've learned after years of experience. Financial freedom is the real goal, not just accumulating wealth for the sake of it. What I mean by that is, it's not about how much money you have. It's about gaining the freedom to do what you want with your time. Whether that means retiring early, traveling the world, or simply living on your terms, that's what financial independence is all about. Now, here's the thing. Clarity is key. It's about taking control of your finances to create freedom. You don't need to chase riches or focus on buying material things. The ultimate goal is freedom. Freedom from worry, from being tied down by your job, and from the stress of living paycheck to paycheck. I know how difficult it can feel, especially when you're just trying to get through the day-to-day grind. I've been there myself. But what I've learned is that taking small, smart steps consistently over time gives you the power to live life the way you want. It won't happen overnight, but it's possible for anyone willing to make it a priority. If you're feeling overwhelmed or unsure about where to start, let me reassure you. It's never too late. You don't need to be rich to get started. Begin by living below your means and saving a little more every month. Even if it's just a small amount, it adds up. Put it into investments like low-cost index funds. Simple, steady ways to grow your money without taking on a lot of risk. Take that first step today. Set up automatic transfers into a savings or investment account. Don't wait for the perfect moment. The sooner you start, the sooner you'll be on your way to freedom. You don't need a fortune to start, just consistency. I know there are other ways to build wealth, like getting into individual stocks or starting a business, but those can be risky and require a lot of time and energy. This simpler approach, investing in index funds, is more reliable and takes far less effort while still giving you the chance to grow your wealth. Yes, it takes patience, but it's worth it. I've seen it work in my own life. If I can do it, so can you. Take one step at a time, and over the years you'll find yourself in a much better place. Financial freedom is not a dream. It's a path that anyone can follow.